to go here tonight. So that leaves the Hurricanes a little bit shorthanded here. Miami, Final Four team a year ago, 10-2, 1-0 in the league. Clemson is ranked. They're 16th, also 1-0. This is a good early conference season litmus test for both of these programs.
Miami starting out in man-to-man. You've got Omier guarding P.J. Hall. That means Matthew Cleveland is going to have Ian Shefflin, and that's a big task to keep him off the glass. One of the best rebounders in the league.
Chase Hunter can't get a shot off. Shot clock is down to 5. Joseph Girard III, the former Syracuse Orange, playing as a fifth-year senior, transferred down to Clemson. Can't convert, and back come the Canes with Nijel Pack. But we got two guys in this game, in Pack and Girard, who can shoot it from about as deep as anybody in the country. Keyshawn George misses the 3, and Shefflin the rebound.
Well, Keyshawn George, who's into the ball game because of the absence of Wooga Poplar, he is a really talented freshman. Reminds you a lot of Anthony Black from Arkansas. Not quite there yet, but he's got a lot of ability.
Yeah, Jim Larinaga just wants him to be a little bit more assertive because of all that ability. And there's Matthew Cleveland, the Florida State transfer, to knock down the 3.
And that pass was opened up by the penetration into the middle. And Clemson is going to have to protect its paint against Miami. They like to get the ball into the paint and spray it to open shooters.
These are two good offensive teams, each of them averaging in excess of 82 points per game. And how about that move by P.J. Hall?
Well, when you hug up onto Hall, he does a very good job of spinning off of contact. That's exactly what he did there. And when he puts the ball on the deck, he'll often spin the other way. Dribbles right and spins. Miami can get some steals there if they're alert to it.
George open in the corner, and he'll answer with a 3. Second 3 already for the Canes.
Well, that's now 17 of his 23 field goals on the season have been threes. You've got to run him off the three-point line, make him put it on the deck.
What a battle it should be between Hall and Omier tonight. Now a steal, though, by Bensley Joseph. And recovers to keep the possession alive for Miami.
Joseph, one of the best defenders in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Just worked so hard on and off the ball.
George off the screen, leaves it a little short. Hall down with a board. Chase Hunter, senior point guard. His younger brother, Dylan, will back him up. Wow. And there's the deep range, and I do mean deep, for one of the most versatile and talented big men in the country.
Well, you don't often say logo 3 from a big guy who's 6'10". That was a deep 3 by P.J. Hall.
And we'll talk about it more as the game develops, but he's healthy this year, and that has just made a world of difference for Hall and the Tigers. Hunter the pull-up, and Clemson on top.
Boy, what a great steal by Chase Hunter. He was right in the gap where he needed to be. And Clemson does a really good job of gap protection. That's when you're a help defender. You get in that gap off of your man, but where you're guarding the ball.
Norchad Omier will answer with a 3 of his own. The big guys trading long-range buckets.
Well, Norchad Omier, that's his 8th 3 on the season. He can keep you honest out there. He's not going to hit 3 or 4 a game. P.J. Hall can do that.
Good matchups all over the court. Shefflin with a jump hook, a little strong. And Cleveland down with a rebound.
Cleveland using his quickness against Shefflin. Shefflin is stronger, but Cleveland is quicker. Well, take a look at Chase Hunter here off this gap protection. Right there in the gap, just reaches in as Nijel Pack comes around that screen. And then he's a really good shooter and a good offensive player. He's not had as many shots this year because of Joe Girard transferring in from Syracuse, but that was right off the Miami logo. Look, it's a big logo, but still, that's a logo 3 for a big guy. Impressive.
R.J. Godfrey is checked in for Clemson, 6'8" sophomore. And there is Girard doing what he has done so many times, 4 years up in Syracuse, and now in his 5th season using the extra COVID year, transferring down to Clemson, and he has fit in seamlessly, Brad Brownell tells us.
Well, he's so good coming off screens because he loads it up quickly. If you're not right on him, he's one of those guys you call a no closeout guy. You should never have to close out to him because you're always on him.
Omier with the rebound and the putback. He is a beast on the glass.
Goes to the glass every time, and he carves out space. Both he and Ian Shefflin are among the better offensive rebounders in the country.
Hall misses this 3. Joseph the rebound. Omier running the court and lays it in.
Well, as soon as that shot was put up, Omier was ready to go the other way. Just an intelligent pass by Bensley Joseph reading the situation.
Boy, what a player Norchad Omier has turned into. Played more baseball than basketball as a kid, but he is a tremendous basketball player. As that one is turned over, and we'll give you even more on Norchad Omier coming out of this break, because he's going 94 feet with Jay Billis on the other side of this timeout.
I wore long sleeves. I didn't want to embarrass him with my guns.
Hi, we're visible.
I think pretty much anybody would say weight room. At least you could lie on the bench and say, I'm in between sets. Anything you can lie down, I'm in on. I'm right with him on perfect day, which is sleep, get a massage, and then go back to sleep.
And again, he was a terrific baseball player when he was younger. Very good pitcher. But he said he hit so well that the coaches, when he wasn't pitching, put him in the lineup at first base or in center field. Imagine a guy that size patrolling center field. And he had pro aspirations. Felt he could have done something baseball-wise, but it looks like he's chosen well into basketball as Bensley Joseph knocks down a three. That's the fourth already for Miami.
I think Jim Larinaga wants Bensley Joseph to shoot it even more. He shoots 43% from three. He doesn't want him passing up shots and just being a playmaker for others.
Yeah, he's known more as a defender and then a distributor, but as you say, sometimes being a little bit selfish is okay if you're a good shooter.
Well, if you're making shots, it's not selfish. It's the right thing for the team. But he's coming off an 11-point, 10-assist game against North Florida. And I think Jim Larinaga was saying that Bensley could have taken it more on his own in that game. He liked the 10 assists, but felt he had 5 turnovers because he was looking for assists too much instead of calling his own number.
And it looks like that was a long 2, so it is 15-10 Miami. Hunter looking for Hall, well defended by Omier.
Good duck in by P.J. Hall.
And he'll convert his second dunk of the night already. And Hall, who's averaging over 20 points per game of the season, off to a very good start tonight.
And when we say duck in, the ball was on the left side of the court, and it was coming back right. He just ducked right into the middle of the lane and moved Omier to the other side of the lane, cleared out all that space. That is hard to deal with.
Omier drives and finishes with the left hand, and we are seeing the best of both big guys early here tonight.
Norchad Omier is listed at 6'7", but I think he's more like 6'5". An undersized big, but he's just so strong.
No way! He called it! Bullshit!
This drive was made more with strength than quickness. Just got into the chest of P.J. Hall, knocked him back a little bit, and was able to finish it. But there's the duck in, and a terrific pass by R.J. Godfrey up top. Got the angle and delivered that bounce pass to lead P.J. Hall to the basket.
Nijel Pack with a pull-up.
A terrific screen by Norchad Omier.
Cut through!
Dylan Hunter now into the game, taking the places of his big brother Chase. The floater will go for the sophomore to bring the Tigers back within 3.
And that was all because P.J. Hall set such a good ball screen to free up Hunter to get into the middle. He just picked off the defender. There was nobody there to help.
Christian Watson is checked in for Miami, 6'7" sophomore from Lanham, Maryland. Boy, terrific handle and a great feed, but then an even better defensive play.
Omier brought the ball back so he could really put the hammer down, and Girard just took it away from him. Now watch Omier. He was trying to drop the hammer here. When he puts it right behind his head, Girard just took it right away. What a big-time play by Joe Girard.
Brad Brownell has been the coach here for a long time. He's in his 14th season as the Tigers head coach. He's the winningest all-time coach at Clemson, 3 NCAA tournament appearances. They were just on the wrong side of the bubble last year. They played a tougher non-conference schedule this year, and they have done much better. They've got some wins that maybe don't jump off the page at you, Jay, but UAB, Davidson, Boise State, at Alabama, at Pitt, South Carolina. They've got some good wins this year.
Really good wins. This is a tournament team.
Yep.
It was last year. They got jobbed, in my opinion.
Pack for 3.
But Nijel Pack is playing at both ends of the floor because he has to chase Joe Girard around. That is not an easy task. He's basically not a help defender. He's just staying with Girard.
Yeah, those two guys respect each other's shooting ability, both being great shooters themselves. No call as Godfrey lays it in. Cleveland's okay as he gets helped back up. Miami 4 for 5 from three-point range in the early going here tonight. Pack into the paint this time with a runner.
Well, you talk about a shot-making team. That's Miami. And Nijel Pack is one of those players that can go get his own.
Girard, and there's the deep range. And anybody who watched the Orange play over the last 4 years, very familiar with that.
Nijel Pack went under on that. You've got to chase him around that. It's easy to say, it's hard to do, but anytime you go under a screen, Joe Girard is just going to stop and pop.
George tried to cradle it and lay it in, knocked it out of bounds. And we will step aside with Miami leading by 3. And Nijel Pack and Joe Girard, a couple of guys who know how to put the ball in the basket.
Well, it's been a game of answers. Nijel Pack on one end, then he goes under the screen, and Joe Girard just stops and pops behind it.
When migraine strikes, you're faced with a choice.
Presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com. What a run it was for Jim Larrañaga and the Miami Hurricanes a year ago as a 5 seed went all the way to the Final Four. The first time this program has gone to the Final Four. The second time for Jim Larrañaga. Did it with George Mason back in 2006. And congratulations to the guy they call Coach L, as he is a nominee for the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame for the second time. And you got to imagine at some point he will get in. Also wanted to congratulate Rick Barnes as a first-time nominee for the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Rick Barnes as well.
One of the rich basketball lives you'll ever see. Jim Larrañaga played at Providence College for Joe Mulaney, and then Dave Gavitt. Played with Ernie DiGregorio his senior year. And Larrañaga was a great college player.
And he remembers specific details about your post defense in the early 80s when he was an assistant at Virginia and you were covering Olden Colonies.
Yeah, he remembers stupid details because nobody could guard Olden Colonies.
Well, he was very flattering. He said he went up to Olden Colonies and said, "You're going to have trouble catching the ball the way that Billis plays post defense. 3 quarters, he gets around you, he makes it tough on you."
I think what he told him is he'll foul you every possession.
If you love stories, Jim Larrañaga's got them all. And you're right, whether it's back to his high school days, Providence, early coaching days at Virginia, and he's been a D1 head coach now for 38 seasons.
Coached at Bowling Green, then George Mason before coming here to Miami. He just had an amazing career.
Watson thought about it from deep. Joseph on the drive. The kick in the corner to Cleveland, and the weak side rebound down to Chase Hunter.
And that 2-3 zone really changes the tempo a little bit, gives Miami a little more to think about.
Hall on the bench, still coming out of the timeout for Clemson. Skying for the rebound is A.J. Casey, a 6'9" sophomore from Chicago. Miami does not have a lot of depth in terms of size. When Omier goes to the bench, Casey's got to give them some good minutes.
Well, it's just not a big team, so they can get hurt inside or on the glass. That's why they've got to bring pressure.
And in fact, the 2 games Miami has lost this year, in both of them, Omier fouled out of the game. They lost to Kentucky by 22, lost to Colorado by 27. They have won every other game that they played this season.
Boy, that's an important basket for Chauncey Wiggins. He had a great game against Memphis. He had 19.7 rebounds, knocked down 3 threes. And if that was the only time you saw Chauncey Wiggins play, you say, this guy's a lottery pick. You know, he's an unassuming player. And I think as he gets more experience, you're going to see him get better and better.
Yeah, known more as a shooter, but boy, he's got all the tools where he can hurt you in a lot of ways. Joseph somehow keeps the dribble alive. They got the shot off, but George can't hit. But look at this cut. And bodies are flying. And A.J. Casey just left the premises. He went about 10 feet out of bounds and a foul called against Clemson.
And Jim Larrañaga coming back with Nijel Pack and Norchad Omier, get a little more sanity on the floor. You know, when you've got Nijel Pack out there, he can create his own. And Omier is such a load to deal with. He sets screens and rolls to the basket, posts. He can duck in hard.
So Omier back in, Hall checked back in. Brad Brownell brought Hall back into the game as soon as he saw Omier check in.
Yeah, Clemson can be pretty deep. Beautiful play out of bounds.
And Shefflin bothered it just enough that Cleveland couldn't finish. Hall, that's a very physical matchup. Tough turnaround, comes up empty. Hall's got a height advantage on Omier, but Omier, and Hall is strong, but Omier's in a whole other league, it looks like, of strength. George from the corner, and Miami stays hot from three.
But Miami spread the floor so well, and that ball movement just found the open person in the corner.
Now Hunter has it knocked away. Joseph created it. Joseph runs it down. George for three.
Boy, George has so much ability.
A freshman from Switzerland. Also played in France some during his high school years. Loose ball down to the Canes. Pack. Just short, and the rebound for Shefflin, who is third in the ACC in rebounds per game, 9.7 per game. Omier is second. Armando Bacot of Carolina is first.
Well, Shefflin had 17 rebounds against Pittsburgh. Another logo three for P.J. Hall.
And there's the putback for Shefflin, doing what he does best. He's got a nose for the ball, doesn't he?
He's fourth in the league in offensive rebounds, averaging around 3 per game, but just under 10 rebounds a game. And you know, Shefflin gets really good position, but he goes to the glass every time. It's not just once in a while. He's there every time a shot goes up.
Joseph thought about it, now tries to penetrate, pulls up from the foul line and can't hit. That voice you hear belongs to Brad Brownell, the Clemson coach, who's right in front of us. We are about as close to a coach as you'll ever be over by the Clemson bench. We can hear all the plays being called out. Good game here. Miami up by 1.
They're going to let you.
Cool. And three-point shooting at better than 41% as a team. And even though Wooga Poplar is not playing tonight with an ankle injury, they got a bunch of other guys, Jay, who can knock him down.
Well, Miami is a spread floor 5-out team. And when they get a piece of the paint, they spray it out. You can't get caught in no man's land between the ball and your man. As the ball's driven in, you have to recover to your man and make sure that you can close out to make him put it on the deck. When they get standstill threes, Miami makes them from multiple spots.
Clemson is also a good three-point shooting team. They're better than 39% on the season as a group, and they're a very respectable 4 for 10 so far tonight.
And the big threat is this guy, Joe Girard. Nijel Pack has done a really good job of staying with him.
Wiggins the handoff to Girard. Now Shefflin will put up a three. He's a guy who his freshman year didn't take many, didn't make many, but Brad Brownell told us he has worked awfully hard on it over the last couple of years, and with that make, he's now 8 for 13 shooting the three ball this season.
Yeah, that's his 8th three, as you point out, and he's really worked on it. And he was not a consistent perimeter shooter when he got to Clemson, but he's gotten better in every facet of the game. I mean, he's a problem with his ability to rebound.
Omier misses the three, and Shefflin down with a rebound. And Shefflin's one of these guys, you know, who dove for that loose ball? Who made that good pass? He just makes winning plays. Girard with a great feed to the cutting Chase Hunter for the lay-in and one.
Those cuts from the corner are so difficult to deal with. You're coming right down the middle of the floor, and all of a sudden you get a cut. You try to show a little bit to give the ball handler something to think about. You turn your head, and all of a sudden Chase Hunter is cutting backdoor to the basket. A terrific delivery by Joe Girard.
And this is the first free throw attempt for either team in this game as Chase Hunter was about to go to the line. It's been played with a very good pace, very few whistles.
Chase Hunter's such an important piece in this Clemson puzzle. A guy who can get his own shot. He handles the ball for this team. I think he needs to continue to be aggressive offensively.
They got a lot of experience. Hunter a senior, Hall a senior, Girard a fifth-year senior, Shefflin a junior.
It feels like it's Clemson's time this year.
Yeah.
You know, P.J. Hall told us today, like his goal, he wants to get to a Final Four, hang an ACC championship banner, which they haven't done since 1990. Good rebound by Shefflin.
Yeah, he was not shy at all in answering that question. You know, how good does it feel to play for a team like this? And, you know, what are the talking points? And he said ACC championship, Final Four. I mean, he blurted it out. George from the wing with his third three of the game already.
You talk about an unselfish team. Nijel Pack could have shot that ball, Bensley Joseph, but they both gave it up to get the better shot to Keyshawn George. When that ball moves, it makes the defense move. And a terrific passing sequence for this Miami team to get the open shot from Keyshawn George. What does George have, 9 points now?
Yeah, he has made 3 threes, 3 of the 6 that Miami has. The foul on Omier, Hunter to the line. Got a great women's college basketball triple header coming your way Sunday afternoon. It all starts at 1 Eastern. Number 1 South Carolina hosting Mississippi State. Then Angel Reese and number 7 LSU take on Ole Miss. And we cap it off on ESPN2 with Carolina and Notre Dame from South Bend.
Did you see Caitlin Clark last night at 40 again with a game winner?
I mean, maybe unbelievable is the wrong word. It's we've seen it so many times, it's believable by now. Clemson by 4. Boz Leida into the game for Clemson now. 5th-year senior, a transfer from UNC Greensboro. So P.J. Hall's back on the bench at least for a little while. Pack through heavy traffic. Great no-look feed, but Casey couldn't finish.
Leida just put a little bit of late pressure there, caused Casey to readjust in the air. He should have just taken that up to dunk.
Girard puts it on the deck and gets inside, and a foul call.
Such good help by Bensley Joseph. Reached in to try to take that ball away, but Girard was strong enough to get it up to the rim and at least draw the foul. Yeah, got his arm there.
So Joe Girard, the native of Glens Falls, New York, who scored like 1,000,000 points in high school and then spent 4 years in Syracuse, made over 300 threes, was asked before the season, why transfer to Clemson? He said, hey, it's nothing against Syracuse. Jim Boeheim obviously retired, and he said, I wanted a different experience, not only as a player, but also seeing a different part of the country. I grew up in the state of New York. I played in the state of New York, and you know, he is very much enjoying his time playing further south, new bunch of guys. And Brad Brownell said as soon as he saw Girard's name in the portal, he knew he wanted him.
Plus, he didn't have to change his color scheme in his wardrobe.
That's right. Just a slightly different shade of orange.
When he goes to the free throw line, it's almost like an intentional walk.
Yeah. The lob. And just a little bit too high for Dylan Hunter to put it down. Pack. George is hot tonight. The tip, no, but Casey runs it down for the Hurricanes. Cleveland, yes.
When Clemson didn't execute on that last opportunity, gave up the open three and then the offensive rebound. You know, this is an important period in this game if Clemson can get some separation here.
Godfrey with an impressive spin and finish for the Tigers.
Well, he's so strong inside.
And the answer at the other end for Matthew Cleveland to get him back within 4. Well, you talk about Girard as a transfer. How about Matthew Cleveland? Terrific player, leading scorer for the Seminoles last year. Hit a buzzer beater to beat Miami. And now he is transferred down here to Coral Gables. Another one of the better transfer stories in the country. Shefflin, baseline, got it.
Well, as soon as Shefflin saw he had Keyshawn George on him, he wanted to take him down in the post. And he might have settled for a fadeaway, but it's one that he can and did make. But he's just stronger than George down there.
Cleveland, the handoff back to Pack. Still plenty of time.
Good job by Clemson. They put 2 on Pack and made him give it up.
And he can't get it back. Dylan Hunter won't let him. George hoists it up and hits his 4th three of the game.
With the shot clock winding down.
So he's a guy, Jay, with Pack out the last 2 games George started. And now with Poplar out tonight, George starting, getting more minutes. And boy, is he stepping up.
He's going to be able to play point guard at some point for this Miami team.
Dylan Hunter. Shefflin the rebound. Right back up with it. And out of bounds to Miami.
Well, I thought Shefflin was going to go right into the body of Matthew Cleveland after he got him off the floor, but just faded away from the contact.
Keyshawn George is having himself a night. He's got 4 threes and a game-high 12 points in this one for Miami, but Clemson can fill it up as well. Joe Girard can shoot it from anywhere. The Tigers are up by 3. Kevin, guys, thank you very much. Yeah, this one has been fun. Miami led early. Clemson's gone on a bit of a run, more balanced for Clemson. Keyshawn George, the freshman, is already just 1 point shy of his season high. These are 2 good teams. Do you expect to see these 2 among those battling for the top spot or spots in this conference?
Yes, especially Clemson. You know, I think Clemson's got a great opportunity to challenge for the top of the ACC. And right now, I think they've got to go inside to P.J. Hall. With Norchad Omier out with 2 fouls, I think you try to get Hall the ball.
Right now it's Godfrey who kicks it to Wiggins. Boy, good help defense. Good recovery there by Miami. Now the shot clock down to 5. Girard the kick. Hall gets it off. Can't hit it. And the rebound down to Miami.
Boy, a good defensive possession by Miami. Jim Larinaga talked to his team yesterday about swarming like bees to the ball, and they swarmed to the ball on that possession.
Pack almost turned it over, kept the toe down. Watson misses the 3, and an easy rebound for Chase Hunter. 1.5 minutes to go here in the first half.
That's Watson's first miss since we've been in Miami. He was knocking down shots like crazy in practice yesterday. I think Hall's got to take Casey down low.
Got it, gave it back up, and Hunter misses the 3, and over the back goes Godfrey.
I think Clemson is letting Miami off the hook right now with Omier being out with those 2 fouls. You know, that's when you try to play a little bit of high-low. You know, Shefflin's out of the game, but get Hall down into the low post and let him go to work against Casey.
George bringing it up now. Guarded by Wiggins.
And then Pack off the stagger.
George up top, and Casey couldn't slam it home.
Right, everything was there except the finish.
And Brad Brownell wants a timeout here with 48 seconds to go in the half.
How'd you hear that?
Got some Pac-12 action for you tomorrow on ESPN and the app. Arizona, they got beat by 18 by Stanford. They've actually lost 3 of their last 5. They'll take on an 11-2 group of Buffaloes at 9:30 Eastern. The Buffs sit atop the Pac-12 right now. They have won 6 in a row.
Colorado is a good basketball team. But just like last year, you know, when you say a team's lost 3 out of 4 or whatever, they always think back to UConn last year.
Yeah.
You know, UConn won their first 9 games or so, and then they lost 6 out of their next 8.
Yeah, January.
And they were the best team.
Yeah.
And Arizona could be a similar type team this year.
And even this year, one week, if somebody said who's the best team, you might say Arizona, then you might say Houston, then you might say Connecticut, then of course you might say Purdue.
I think you do say Purdue.
Yeah.
I think Purdue's the best team.
Yeah. But like 3-4 weeks ago, UConn and Arizona were playing as well as teams can play, and they're both great teams still, but this is college basketball. It happens.
And plus, Arizona's played a really difficult schedule. I mean, they played Purdue and then played Florida Atlantic, and Florida Atlantic is legit.
Something being reviewed by the officials right now.
I'm sure it has to do with time.
And Brian O'Connell walking over to Brad Brownell to tell him whatever it is they saw. It appears maybe it's who the last foul was on. I think we just heard Brad Brownell say how many fouls on 10. 10 is R.J. Godfrey. And if the foul was on 10, he's saying if that's the second on Godfrey, he wants to get him out of the game. I don't think Godfrey knows it. So originally, I believe it was called on Wiggins, but it has now been changed to Godfrey, if we are understanding correctly. Hall looks inside for Godfrey. Nice swing to Wiggins, who hits the three. Great offense by the Tigers.
Just great recognition to throw the ball out of the post for the open three.
Timeout, Jim Larinaga. Now a 6-point game.
GLP-1s through row have stopped my cravings completely. A walk.
This year, this is a terrific offensive team.
Well, you've got to be able to score. And when Godfrey got the ball inside going against Mike Nwoko, you just can't suck in against a three-point shooter, especially in the corner. You caught that. That's sort of a no man's land position for a defender.
George shut off on the baseline by Wiggins. Kind of a scrambly possession right now for the Hurricanes, but they've still got time.
Chase Hunter had the steal, but George just took it away from him.
Pack forced it up, won't go. And now Clemson's got all kinds of time here to try to get one more look. Chase Hunter up and around, but it rolls off the rim. And that's after the horn, after the buzzer. So the first half will come to a close, and an entertaining first half at that, with P.J. Hall and Clemson leading.
Here he is on the roll replace action.
The shot fake, the drive, switching hands and drawing the foul. Hall will go to the line.
The more Clemson can get into the paint, whether off the drive or throwing it inside to their two big guys, the better it's going to be for the Tigers. You know, they've shot more free throws, 5-0. I don't think Miami shot a free throw in that first half.
Nope.
And that's an advantage that I think Clemson needs to exploit in this second half.
P.J. Hall suffered a foot injury in his sophomore season, recovered from that, and then in the summer before his junior season suffered a knee injury, dislocated his kneecap. He played, but he wasn't 100%. His minutes were limited really until conference play last year, and he says it is literally everything that he had a healthy summer in order to prepare for this season, and he is playing at an all-conference level. I think Kyle Filipowski, if you were to do the voting today, it'd probably be Filipowski and Hall for the best two players that we have seen in the ACC so far this season.
He's having a player of the year caliber season in the ACC. And he's doing it on both ends. You know, his shot blocking's an important factor for this Clemson defense.
He is the only guy in Division I, as the three goes down for Matthew Cleveland. P.J. Hall, the only guy in Division I to be averaging 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. That's about as versatile as it gets.
Yeah, it would be Zach Edey, but he dropped below 2 assists in that last game.
He's still pretty good, though.
He's still pretty good, yeah. I think he's
wide open. Chauncey Wiggins. Hall couldn't corral the rebound. Boy, he had a gimme. And Omier getting down the floor in a hurry and laying it in. That's the second time tonight where Omier has beaten the Clemson defense down to the other end of the court.
Boy, and those big mitts corralling that ball when it was loose and getting it up on the board quickly.
Gambled there, almost came up with it, and pays the price as Hall flushes it.
And Matthew Cleveland intelligently getting out of the way. There are no more posters anymore. Now it's like an NFT to get dunked on.
Omier for 3 and leaves it well short, but Cleveland comes up with it.
You don't think that was a lob pass?
Now Pack from deep. And Miami starting the second half hot. They've gotten back within 2.
And that's what I call getting caught in no man's land. When the ball goes under the basket, Cleveland had it down low. Helping off doesn't do any good. You got to stay with a three-point shooter.
Girard not just a three-point shooter. And you saw it at Syracuse as well, but having watched a bunch of Clemson games this year, he's putting the ball on the deck, and he is scoring in a variety of ways this year.
Well, he looks in better condition this year as opposed to last, but Joe Girard, I don't know how many miles he puts on in a game, but he's constant motion.
And to your point, he was 205 last year at Syracuse. He's 190 right now. Omier off the glass, too strong.
Good job by P.J. Hall of just walling up and making Omier make it tough, too.
Girard, the pull-up three. And the rebound down to Bensley Joseph.
And the Miami guards have to rebound on the defensive end. You can't expect Omier to get every board. All 5 guys have to rebound.
Joseph, no. Well, again, our proximity to Brad Brownell allows us to hear a lot, if not all, of what he's saying. And he is telling his guys, get going. Get up the court. Let's go.
He's telling them to run.
Yep.
Now, Miami doesn't have a ton of bodies. So the more you can run them, the better it is for you.
Chase Hunter with a strong drive and finish. Tough bounce pass in traffic. Omier saves it and will get an assist as Pack lays it in.
Boy, really intelligent cut by Nijel Pack to present himself, and what a terrific play by Norchad Omier.
2 years at Arkansas State, player of the year in the Sun Belt a couple of years ago, and now putting up great numbers in his second year with the Hurricanes.
He's got over 1,500 career points, over 1,000 rebounds.
One of only 3 Division I players to do that, and the other 2 are fifth-year seniors. He's a fourth-year senior.
Well, the officials just reversed the call. They said that Bensley Joseph knocked it out of bounds.
So it'll be Clemson ball.
So they'll have to move the shot clock back.
Yep. Jim Larinaga not thrilled with the reversal of the call. Dylan Hunter lobs it in. Boy, a dangerous pass. It's stolen, and Cleveland will flush it.
I think Jim Larinaga likes the call now.
All's well that ends well.
Isn't that a gut punch when you're inbounding under your own basket, you turn it over and give up a layup on the other end?
Girard over Pack. And laid back up and in by Shefflin.
But Chauncey Wiggins did not have inside position, but knocked it right to Shefflin.
Pack using the screen by Omier and burying the 3. And what a game we got going here in Miami.
And no one was there to call out the screen. You got to be up to touch.
Yeah, if you're going to get screened by Norchad Omier, you would at least like to know it's coming.
And you're going to stay screened.
Girard, no. Rebound for Watson. Miami can take the lead.
Boy, just too tough of a shot.
George. And the battle for the rebound. It is out of bounds with a timeout on the floor. And the second half beginning with as much fun, Jay, as the first half provided.
Now, this is a shot maker's game. And we've seen that. That's about as good a shot as you can get. P.J. Hall taking it to the rack. But after the turnover, Matthew Cleveland with the easy basket the other way. And then you get a screen by Norchad Omier. You're not going to be more open than that. Miami back in it. Moment.
That's just kind of a life policy of yours?
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. I'm going to Michigan as well.
Well, now I'm going to rethink my pick.
Oh, yeah, I know. This is the first thing we've agreed on all day. Love Blake Corum. Should be a great game, and it's coming your way Monday night, 7:30 Eastern. Pretty good fight song, though. You may not like the helmet, but you got to respect the fight song.
I think Hail to the Victors is the best fight song in college football.
Little weave up top for Miami, looking to retake the lead here from Clemson. Pack got it to go.
Is there a shot that Nijel Pack cannot make? You know, Miami's got 10 threes in this ball game already.
Cleveland down with the rebound for the Canes. If you're drafting in a game of horse, I think Nijel Pack is the first pick in this gym tonight.
Girard's not far behind.
Yeah, that's true. Omier over Hall. Miami by 3.
Boy, Miami's really turned things around, and Clemson needs to go inside. You know, P.J. Hall has a size advantage over Omier, not a strength advantage. But I think they need to let him touch it in the low post.
He is 4 for 9, 11 points so far in the game. Brad Brownell wants a timeout. They got to get things going offensively right now here in Coral Gables.
Hey, Brent, if you had...
Norchad Omier just every season keeps getting better and better, and he helps Miami in so many ways, getting the jump hook off over P.J. Hall.
Just got one-on-one in the post. Nobody came over to double and just got into the middle of the lane. And he is a difficult cover. Can play out on the perimeter this year. But P.J. Hall, in my view, hasn't had enough touches in the paint. Now, he's floated around the perimeter a little bit, but I think Clemson needs to start getting the ball inside more. You know, start dominating the low post.
You know, we were talking football, and I'm sure Norchad Omier has a very bright professional future ahead of him somewhere playing basketball, but doesn't he look like the kind of guy who NFL scouting directors might say, you know what, I wonder if he could play some football. There have been tight ends, obviously, who were basketball players in college. You know, Jimmy Graham right here at Miami, Antonio Gates, and Norchad Omier certainly looks like he could be one heck of a football player if he wanted to.
Yeah, maybe the best among them is Tony Gonzalez.
Yep.
Played basketball at Cal before going into the NFL, being one of the best tight ends of all time. Norchad Omier, you know, he could throw 86 miles an hour as a 16-year-old pitcher.
Yeah. First free throw attempt of the night for Miami. Over 26 minutes into the game.
After that last time out, Clemson ran something to get the ball inside to P.J. Hall. But instead of just going up strong, he tried to get rid of it at the end. Like, go up and get fouled.
Girard off the screen. Deep three. In and out and off the rim, and another rebound for Omier. Looks like he took a shot to the side of the head, but he's okay. Turnaround, Matthew Cleveland, and it goes.
He knew he had an advantage when Girard picked him up in transition, and Brad Brownell telling his team, pick up the pace, man.
You know, they lost a great player in Jordan Miller last year from their Final Four team, and another great one in Isaiah Wong, but specifically in terms of Miller, if you're going out and trying to find a guy who could play that kind of a role, Matthew Cleveland's a pretty good fit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the one. And Matthew Cleveland has terrific end-to-end speed. He can really run.
A 5-point game. Miami with the lead and the ball. George. Not this time. He's already made 4 threes here tonight. Hall gets into the paint, and it'll go. It'll jump hook for the answer to the one that he saw from Omier at the other end.
Just a little dribble handoff action. He kept it and got that one-on-one in the post. And that's where Clemson can be much more difficult to guard if they can let him touch it more in the paint.
Pack, the pull-up. Yes. He's tough.
At least Clemson was able to get him off the three-point line, but coming off that little screen, that stop and pop. But right now, Clemson having to play from behind.
Pack now with 19. He is the high scorer in the game. Backdoor taken away by George.
Just a poor pass from P.J. Hall.
And then George gives it right back, stolen by Godfrey. Girard is open, but basically he's in range anywhere over half court. Hall misses the three. And it's out of bounds, staying at this end with the Tigers.
Well, Nijel Pack, without Wooga Poplar in there, has been more aggressive offensively. Getting the screen from Norchad Omier, the little stop and pop around the elbow. It's been a lot of Pack line in this one.
Last year, the Miami Hurricanes lost only one game in this building, and it was Matthew Cleveland of Florida State in a game that the Seminoles at one point trailed by 25. Cleveland hits a buzzer beater, a stunning victory for Florida State over Miami, and now he's a Hurricane. Go figure. Stays in the same state, stays in the same conference, and he comes from Tallahassee down to Coral Gables, and what an important addition he has been to this Miami team. They are very, very talented, but they are not very deep. And again, you lose Jordan Miller, a guy who's gone pro. You're losing one of the best players in this conference last year, and a huge part of the Final Four team. But Matthew Cleveland has fit in beautifully.
Well, he plays at both ends of the floor. He's done a great job guarding Ian Shefflin in this game, and Shefflin's having to guard him right now.
And there's a foul on Chase Hunter. And right now, Nijel Pack is kind of enforcing his will on this game. Here's our view. There's Jay. Here's me. And there's Brad Brownell right in front of us. This is one of the rare times where we're on the same side as the benches, and we're a little down from midcourt. So could you tell Brad to move over a little bit so I can see
Is it bad form to say down in front?
Yeah. Excuse me, Brad. Would you mind? But you really, not that it's any surprise, but you really feel the intensity when you're, 3 feet away from one of the coaches all night long.
Boy, Nijel Pack is so difficult to stay in front of. Turned the corner, got right around P.J. Hall, picked up the foul on the shot. When he comes off a pick and roll, he can snake those things so well. Just go multiple directions, not just a straight line off of it. He is a difficult cover.
And to get his first game back after missing 2 games with a lower body injury. Now, they were games that Miami, no disrespect to the opposition, but they were playing Stonehill in North Florida, so they could, they figured they could win without him, and they gave him some time. If it had been a league game, a tournament game, he would have played, but he doesn't look like he has skipped a beat. And again, they're playing without Wooga Poplar tonight, who is having a great season. 16 points per game, shooting 50% from 3, second in the nation. And they're having this kind of a night without one of their best players.
Wooga Poplar, one of the best athletes in the country. Asked Jim Larinaga, where does he fit on your list of best athletes you've coached? And he was saying, well, it depends, off 1 foot or 2.
Clemson also without a couple of guys who have been out for a while, Jack Clark and Alex Hemingway. And it was thought that maybe Clark was going to return tonight. He had a sports hernia, had surgery. It just didn't take. There were some issues. They had to go in and do it again, and he is still sidelined. And Hemingway has been out for a while as well with a lower leg injury. That'll give Clemson tremendous depth when they get those 2 veteran players back. Both good players. George called for the offensive foul.
This little lean in with that left shoulder, but you can see Keyshawn George. He's got the ability. He was trying to get the defender off of him. That's a little bit of a discard there at the end. But I think Keyshawn George is saying to the official, yeah, okay, you caught me on that one. What about the foul earlier? They never seem to respond to that.
Where does Clemson go for offense? They got a lot of good offensive players on the floor, but they have been struggling here in the second half. Hunter into traffic, and it is deflected away. No call. Joseph in transition. What a burst of speed.
And what a turnaround. Miami takes away what looked like an easy bucket for Chase Hunter and turned it into a layup on the other end. And right now, Clemson really needs to get something positive going.
And a tough one for P.J. Hall to quiet the crowd.
And I think that's where success lies for Clemson. Get the ball inside. They haven't run much of their high-low game. Now, in part, that's because Miami's been very disruptive on the defensive end with ball pressure.
Joseph again. Hunter had it but lost it. And Omier, a block is called on Hall. And Brad Brownell, needless to say, not a fan of that call.
But Clemson's been so close to finish plays here and there, just didn't get square. But close, not able to grab a rebound, corral it. Miami gets it back. It's those little things that are standing in the way of Clemson being in this game. But part of it's been shot selection, Dan. I mean, they've taken a fair amount of threes, haven't hit any in this second half.
Hall's third foul. He becomes the first player in the game to pick up his third, and he goes to the bench. And it'll be George inbounding for Miami. The Hurricanes with a 7-point lead past the midway point of the second half. George off a screen. Joseph, bounce pass to Omier.
Well, he was thinking that all the way. Just draw the defense and drop it off.
And look at all the plays that Bensley Joseph has made for Miami since Nijel Pack went to the bench. He's just kind of taken over the game the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, he's taken it up another notch, but you got to rotate down. That's where Chauncey Wiggins needs to rotate down, take that pass away, but just an intelligent job by Norchad Omier of presenting himself in front of the rim on that baseline drive.
And a timeout taken by Brad Brownell. For people just tuning in, how has this gotten away from Clemson after they led by 6 at halftime?
Clemson inbounds the ball under their own basket, turn it over, give up a layup, don't finish a play down low, slow getting back. Miami's made some great plays, but a lot of this has been lack of offensive execution on the part of Clemson. You can't rely just on getting stops in a game like this when you're playing against a team offensively as gifted offensively as Miami is, even without Wooga Poplar. This is a team full of shot makers, and Clemson has not done a good job on their offensive end of exerting their dominance inside against Miami. Give Miami credit because their pressure has been really good, and especially pressure on the ball. So they've taken away vision. And one thing that Miami's done a good job of, they've extended catches. So Clemson's not been able to catch the ball where they want to get it, and they're out of operating areas at times.
So you saw there some of the numbers, some of the raw numbers. Clemson shooting 41% of the second half. Miami shooting 67%. Wiggins gets to the elbow, step back jumper, around and out. Offensive rebound, Shefflin. And a kickball. That's the 10th rebound of the night for Ian Shefflin to go with 9 points. So he's on the verge of a double-double.
He had 14 rebounds against Alabama. I mentioned he had 17 rebounds against Pittsburgh, including 7 offensive boards. Boy, good job by Keyshawn George to stop that drive and not leave the floor on that shot fake.
Does a great job covering a smaller guard, too. He's really a wing, but he can cover a lot of different spots. And there's a huge and much-needed basket for Clemson, courtesy of Chauncey Wiggins.
Well, they reversed the ball so quickly, and the defense couldn't recover. But Wiggins, to his credit, was able to catch and shoot without hesitating. Now 2-3 zone, trying to keep Miami out of the paint, and Jim Larinaga wants a timeout to talk about it.
30-second timeout with 8:31 to go, and the Wiggins 3 just bringing the Tigers within 6.
Just really good ball movement to get the ball from the left side of the floor to the right. And Chauncey Wiggins, I don't think he has any idea how good he's going to be. A teammate in high school of Ian Shefflin in Grayson, Georgia. But he needs to realize how much more he can do, because he's a really talented young player.
Mostly a catch-and-shoot guy right now, but with tremendous talent. Next Wednesday, the Hurricanes tip off a basketball doubleheader over on the ACC network. They will host Louisville right here at the Watsco Center at 7 o'clock Eastern, and then it'll be BC and Syracuse at 9 Eastern. So we figure these two teams will be up near the top of the league. We figure Duke and Carolina will be up near the top of the league. Virginia, a 22-point loss for Notre Dame. You know, I think people are very curious about what the Who's will be this year. Wake Forest is a team that really interests me. They have won 8 in a row right now. They're still getting healthy. Picked up a close win at BC on the weekend. I think the Demon Deacons will make some noise this year.
No, Wake Forest is really good, and you're right. When they get fully healthy, they're going to be even better.
Turnaround by Cleveland will go.
Boy, that's just a great individual play, and that's not an easy shot to make. Turned over his left shoulder for a turnaround jumper. That is not easy, but he made it look easy.
Chase Hunter, no, and Shefflin called for the foul, trying to get the rebound.
Just a little push off against Matthew Cleveland, and Miami's starting to feel it right now. Still a long way to go.
How about Nijel Pack? 16 points in the second half, and this is a guy a couple of years at K-State, now 2 years here with the Miami. If you need a guy to get hot and get the offense going, he's a pretty good candidate.
He's a baller, an elite shooter, and you cannot go under on him. But he can spin, pivot on drives. He's got that deep range, and there he is again.
Right on cue, as they say, knocking down the elbow jumper. He's a career 42% three-point shooter over his 4 years at K-State, and here he's made 263 threes in those 4 years. And guarding a guy who's just as good shooting the three and can also put it on the deck in Joe Girard.
And P.J. Hall was in the low post trying to get open against Norchad Omier, and I think his presence there just opened up that drive for Girard. Still with this 2-3 zone, and Cleveland in the middle. He'll shift in and out of there. He can be a playmaker there.
Kicks it back out to George. 7 to shoot. George stripped by Hunter. Chase Hunter trying to go the distance, and he lays it in.
Boy, what a good sequence for Clemson. And Chase Hunter just stayed right in front of George and took the ball away from him on that drive. The wings are up here. The corners can be open.
And they've got size on that back line. Shefflin on one side, Wiggins on the other, Hall in the middle. Omier traveled. And the defense has given Miami a little bit of trouble the last couple of possessions.
Just gave him a different look, and that covers up. You're not chasing Miami around, but just trying to get in. Really good job reaching in with that right hand to take it away and convert on the other end. You know, some of Clemson's offensive difficulties in the second half have affected their defense, and this is where they need to go.
P.J. Hall with good deep position to get him back within 4.
He's getting the ball up top to Wiggins. Got a high-low look. He didn't have any pressure on him. And this 2-3 zone is making Miami a little bit more of a stationary offensive team.
Cleveland from 18 knocks it down.
He's dangerous there. That's where he can be a playmaker. He's a good passer, but a lot of guys can't execute that mid-range shot the way he's capable of executing it.
There are a lot of very talented offensive players on both sides tonight. Hunter couldn't handle the pass. Joseph the steal and the lay-in.
And the foul.
And the foul.
What a big-time play by Bensley Joseph. Looked like Hunter just took his eye off it, thinking about catching it on the run. Ball gets away from him, goes right through his fingers, and Bensley Joseph, who's a left-hander, goes right to that left hand, got taken out by Wiggins, but still completed the play. You can see him just catching Wiggins out of the corner of his eye and just taking it up strong. Never took his eyes off the rim once he went up.
You know, with guys like Poplar and Cleveland and Omier around him, Joseph doesn't get a lot of publicity, but boy, is he valued within this program.
Well, his pressure is making it difficult just for Clemson to get into something. Nijel Pack stayed right with Joe Girard.
They get it down to 4, and now Miami's got it back to 8. Shefflin, a corner 3, too strong.
And bodies all over the place underneath with Hall and Omier.
Boy, George can really speed up the court, can he? And he gets the assist on the 3 by Cleveland.
Boy, it used to be you would run in transition for a layup. Now you're running for that 3-point line.
Largest lead of the night for the Hurricanes. Girard, yes.
Well, you come off him just a bit. Nijel Pack just came off him a bit. It's almost like you can't come off him at all. Just he's got to be a no-help guy. Nijel Pack tried to get into help side position, but there's no such thing when you're guarding Joe Girard. I call him a no closeout guy. You never want to have to close out to him. You got to stay with him all the time.
A touch for Omier. One-on-one with Hall. Hall, the foul, number 4.
Omier is just so strong and uses that low body leverage. And he's a body seeker. He goes right into the contact. Got one-on-one in the post, and once he gets into your body, moved P.J. Hall back. He tried to assume that position again, and he was not happy with that call.
And a big change for Miami here in the second half. Omier has been able to stay in the game as much as Jim Larinaga wants him in there. He had some foul trouble. Didn't even get to 11 minutes in the first half. He's played almost every second of the second half.
And Omier is a good free throw shooter. Shoots about 85% from the line. And Bensley Joseph continuing to put pressure on Chase Hunter as he brings it up. That takes time off the clock, makes it difficult.
Hall the handoff. Chase Hunter misses the 3. It's loose and it belongs to Miami. And a great hustle play there by Chase Hunter to prevent what could have been an easy 2 for Omier, who does a great job too running the floor.
Clemson just a little late in getting back. You got 2 guys trying to corral the ball, and if not for that right hand knocking that ball away, that would have been another easy basket in transition. Just converting from offense to defense is such a big deal. And you got to get back, find shooters.
Godfrey in for Hall. Again, he's got 4. You got the under 4 timeout coming at some point soon, presumably, so Hall's going to sit for a little bit. And Omier is going to go to work on Shefflin. Got him in the air, switched hands, and laid it in. That was beautiful.
And that's what you call an up and under move. Sometimes when a guy goes to the other side of the basket, you'll hear, hey, up and under. That's not what that means. That was an up and under move. That's a term of art in the game.
A foul on Omier.
Was that an announcer jinx? You just talked about he hadn't got a foul. That must have been your fault.
Norchad Omier is big and strong, but he's a whole lot more than that. He is a tremendous basketball player as well. Miami's getting it from all over the court. The 3 from Cleveland, the up and under from Omier. They're up by 12.
Repeat after me. I will never steal from the weak.
Thank you very much. A real Miami theme here on this Wednesday night, and especially in the second half. Neither Nijel Pack nor Matthew Cleveland has missed a shot in the second half.
It's been Villanova 85-esque in the championship game against Georgetown. Miami shooting 75% in this second half, 18 of 24.
And Clemson's gone cold, especially from 3.
Now Clemson with a short clock.
And George staying with Girard, making him work. I don't know if he got it off in time. He did not, is the initial ruling. The call on the floor is a shot clock violation.
Now they're going to talk about it, though.
And they're going to go look at it.
Wasn't close.
No, not close. Yep. So the right call on the floor, a very quick review, and a turnover gives it back to Miami. Keyshawn George showing you another aspect of his ability. At 6'7", he can move his feet and stay with a small guard and really make life tough on Girard.
I mean, the first time I saw Keyshawn George in person was at Kentucky earlier this year and watched him in practice. I mean, he looked like Anthony Black.
The great Arkansas guard from last year.
Yes. Yeah. Who was one of the top picks in the draft, went to Orlando.
Now with the Orlando Magic.
He doesn't have that strong lower base as Anthony Black just yet, but he's going to be a big-time player.
Joseph, no, and off the rim to Godfrey. Clemson needs scores, and they need them quick.
And they need stops.
Wiggins will oblige with a 3 from the wing to get it down to 9.
And Miami doesn't want to take the air out of the ball. They want to remain aggressive, but you don't have to be in a hurry here.
Joseph and Pack, two very experienced guards, good ball handlers in the backcourt. Cleveland baseline. And it looks like Godfrey fouled Omier.
So Clemson was bringing 2 to the ball, so they were trapping that exchange. But this is a good passing team. Both are good passing teams. Clemson, the #1 assist team in the ACC coming into this game. But this Miami team's a hard team to trap.
Foul actually on Shefflin, his second. Godfrey comes out. P.J. Hall back in. They need his offense.
And this is why you do, Dan, all that conditioning work, is so you can hit free throws late when you're tired.
That's the 20th point for Omier. Miami has now 21. They've got 3 players with at least 20 points in this game. Pack's got 23. Cleveland and Omier each have 21. Pretty impressive.
So George on Girard, and he lost him there. They picked up a jump switch.
And Hall's roughed up inside. Or was it Shefflin? Excuse me. Shefflin drew the foul, and he'll go to the line. Tomorrow night, got some Pac-12 action for you. It'll be Arizona looking to bounce back after the loss to Stanford. They will take on KJ Simpson and 11-2 Colorado at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Shefflin makes them both. And here comes the pressure.
1-2-1-1.
Broken nicely. A little shoulder bump, but they play on. Omier got rid of it, and Cleveland got fouled.
And that's it for P.J. Hall.
Yep, that'll be the end of the night for Hall. Just picked up his 5th.
That makes that an even bigger play, because it takes out a weapon for Clemson.
You know, you look at the end of the night, and Hall, who's a player of the year candidate in this league, 17 points, 7 for 13, 6 rebounds. I mean, he put up some numbers, but it never looked like he was able to exert his influence on this game like he normally does.
And part of it was the pressure that Miami's put on the ball. You know, Miami made it difficult for Clemson to run anything with the pressure. And we talked about Jim Larinaga with his team yesterday. We're going to swarm like bees and bring pressure. And it's difficult to throw the ball inside when you can't see, when vision's taken away. Bensley Joseph's done a great job of pressuring the ball, bringing it up, so that the ball handler's thinking more about Bensley Joseph than he is about getting into offense.
And then even if they get it into Hall, now you got to deal with the physical specimen that is Norchad Omier down there.
You know, Omier doesn't allow easy catches.
Cleveland just tied his career high with 23. And Miami again can be patient. Brad Brownell wants Clemson to play it out, doesn't want to foul on this trip. Under 2 minutes to go. Joseph inside, reverses and lays it in. What a second half he's had.
How do you stay in front of these guys? Yeah, and Bensley Joseph has had a great second half, and he's done it at both ends of the floor, equally as impactful on the defensive end as the offensive end.
You know, you watch Joseph, you watch Nijel Pack. They play the game with a great demeanor, with a smile on their face. These guys are having fun, and they're especially having fun tonight, beating a team that had only lost once all season coming into this game. And again, for those who haven't been with us all night long, important to mention one more time, doing it without Wooga Poplar. Pack throws it away to Shefflin. Chase Hunter. 87-79. Timeout Brad Brownell with 1:05 to go.
Now it's about forcing turnovers, putting on full court pressure, and it's about Miami being strong with the ball and stepping to the line and making big free throws.
What does it do for a team? You know, Pack missed a couple of games. Poplar's missing this game. So they need more from other guys. They've gotten it from George tonight. They've gotten it from Joseph. What does it mean to a team when somebody's injured and somebody else steps in and fills the void?
I mean, it's a huge confidence builder, don't you think, to have Keyshawn George come into this ball game? He started the last two in place of Nijel Pack, but with Wooga Poplar out, for him to have the kind of game he hits when he's hit multiple threes, he's handled the ball as a point guard, he's grown up a lot in this game. I think it's just a huge confidence boost. So when you get Wooga Poplar back, he comes back to a more confident, better team. You know, look, this team wasn't lacking confidence. They went to the Final Four last year, but they're missing some pieces from last year's Final Four team, but they've got so much leadership back with Nijel Pack. Bensley Joseph has grown even more, and you know, he stepped forward tonight and played just a fantastic game at both ends of the floor. But this second half performance was just magical with the way they played offensively.
They were down 6 at halftime, 41-35. So Miami has scored 52 points in the second half of this game. And Pack, Cleveland, and Omier, first time this year that they've had 3 scorers with 20 or more. That doesn't happen very often in a college game. Clemson again will bring the pressure.
And you have to expect that they're going to go after the ball. So the first thing is make a catch.
And a foul before they even inbound. That's the 10th team foul, so it's 2 free throws the rest of the way for Miami. As Brad Brownell is now making some offense-defense substitution. Shefflin and Girard getting ready to come back in. Jim Larinaga can sleep well at night knowing his team shoots 79% as a team from the line on the season. You talked about Omier. Pack's a very good free throw shooter. Joseph is a great free throw shooter.
Well, his team has fun. And I would imagine that Jim Larinaga would be a fun coach to play for. He's always positive.
Yeah.
Best whistle in all of college basketball.
Absolutely. He's a 1 seed in that department, that's for sure. Wiggins for 3.
You know, Jim Larinaga keeps a book of things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a bucket list book.
Yeah.
He told me last time we were together in Kentucky, said that he's never going to attain his number one thing on his bucket list.
Hang on. It wasn't finishing on an alley-oop. That's not number 1 on his bucket list?
No, number 1 for him is get a tan.
And he just can't?
He doesn't think it'll ever happen. He says he turns red.
Well, he's in the right place to try,
you
that's
would
for
think
sure.
so.
Yep. Girard open for a 3.
Boy, this is a really big win for Miami. Without Wooga Poplar against an excellent Clemson team, when everything seemed against you, to be able to come into this game and play this kind of second half and walk out of the Watsco Center with a win.
And if you're Clemson, you got to try to regroup in a hurry. You're home to North Carolina on Saturday, so that's another big-time matchup for the Tigers. Miami's next game, they got a tough one, too. They are at Wake Forest Saturday afternoon. Those are 2 good, meaningful games early on in conference play.
One at a time, Dan. Got to take them one at a time.
Jay, don't you know in the play-by-play handbook it says in a 10-point game in the last minute, talk about who they play next. We're on our way to Gainesville. We will see Kentucky and Florida Saturday afternoon.
You better be ready for a track meet there because Kentucky is one of the best transition teams in the country.
Oh, a steal by Joseph, and he slams it home. The exclamation point on a very, very good night for the Hurricanes.
Right, who thought at halftime that Miami'd have 95 by the end of this one?
60 in the second half. The shot clock is turned off. 74% shooting, 60 points in the second half, and a standing ovation from the crowd here in Coral Gables.
And well deserved. What a second half by the Hurricanes.
Big, big win for Coach L, as they call him, in the Hurricanes, beating Clemson 95-82. Both teams now 11-2 in the